The amount of child labor in the 1800s was massive. There were no laws to prevent any of this in the Victorian era, so this was common. In today's episode of The Worst Jobs in the 1800s, we will explore which job was worse for young workers. I'm Ellie, and here we have two guests, Reese and Makiah, to argue what is the worst job for children. Speaking next is Reese.
Do you know what the hardest childhood job is?
Yes, chimney sweeps.
Well, I think it's the mule scavenger. I think it's the mule scavenger because the kids would have to go under a big machine, hugging the ground and collecting cotton that fell off the machine. If they weren't careful, they could lose limbs, get scalped, or even die. They could also get severely depressed and die from it. One more reason I think the mule scavenger is the hardest childhood job is because they could get really bad diseases like cancer and way more. Also die from these diseases, and only a couple survived when they got older. In conclusion, I think the mule scavenger is the hardest childhood job.
Thank you, Reese. That was a strong argument on why mule scavenging was the worst job for children. Now introducing Makiah to talk about chimney sweeping. There were several children that were chimney sweepers, and it's very dangerous.
Kids were taken from streets, sold by parents, or taken from orphanages just to have the worst job in the world, or in the 1800s. A chimney sweep. I argue that chimney sweeps are the worst job in the 1800s because kids were get forced to climb up chimneys. My second reason I argue is that if the kids weren't working fast enough, the master would light fires under them. My last and final reason is that kids are at ages 4 and older would get hired to this job. In conclusion, I believe chimney sweeps are the worst job in the 1800s.
Thank you, Reese, Makiah, and the audience listening.
You're welcome.
Both mule scavenging and chimney sweeping was risky and dangerous. I believe they were both the worst jobs for children in the 1800s.